What does it take to bring a brand story to life on camera and make it look effortless? Today on Marketing Over Bourbon, we're sitting down with an expert, Mark Russell. I'm your host, Sheila Butler of Butler Marketing Group. And Mark is the founder of IronPixelMedia, an Orlando-based production company known for its commercial work, creative direction, and storytelling through video and photography. He's the producer, director of photography, the editor, and the reason this show looks and sounds as great as it does. Over the years, Mark has led hundreds of shoots for corporate clients, creative campaigns, and branded content, blending technical precision with a sharp creative eye and enabling brands to communicate clearly and visually. Today, we're talking about building emotion into a 30-second story, balancing art and execution, and what goes into crafting a great production work in a limited time, space, and budget. I'm so excited for Mark to be in front of the camera today instead of behind the scenes. So grab a cocktail and enjoy this conversation with my producer and friend, Mark Russell. Mark, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm on the other side of the camera. Here we are.
Cheers, we're sipping Woodford. And you're not a big bourbon drinker, right?
I'm not, but you're getting me into it.
I can't be persuasive.
Yes, you can.
All right, so let's start with your career.
Okay.
So you built a career in video production and creative media.
Yeah.
How did you first get into this work? Because if I believe correctly, you were in Disney attractions back at MGM Studios.
Yep.
Backlot
Studio Tour.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I fell into it. Well, I'll go back a little bit. I was in Pennsylvania, just a little small farm town. And one day I decided I wanted to go to Florida and to work at Disney. And so came down, auditioned, and somehow I got lucky and I got to be a tour guide at the MGM Studios. So I was a tour guide and just doing tours, had the best time ever. It was great. You know, as far as I'm concerned, that was a renaissance time for Disney. It was amazing. And I just remember seeing all the production down on the sound stages and all the production people going back and forth. It was busy in there. It was great. And then one day I got offered a cross-year position where I got to actually work on the Mickey Mouse Club as a PA. Okay. And so I worked on that. And then that led into some other jobs as PAing on the national car spots they did at Disney or any kind of promotions that was going on. I was getting brought in as a PA because I was a hard worker. I really busted my butt. I mean, I loved it so much. And I would just work, work hard. And I think, that was what got my start down there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to start IronPixelMedia? What gap were you aiming to fill in the production world? Because I'm assuming you found a green space.
I did. Well, the thing was, when I was a PA at the time, I was always around the photographers. Mm-hmm. And I really just admired them because they were just so good, And I started learning camera. And then I started working with film and tape and doing a little bit of work with Disney's film and tape for a little while. And then I left Disney, and then Disney became a client, actually. So I started a little editing company at that time. And we were doing like recap videos for Disney's marketing department. They used to do recaps after all the big press events. Yeah. So we would take all that media and we were doing recap videos. And that was our niche. We actually had something. We were able to do something that was very interesting. It was for Disney, and I loved it. I loved it immensely. After that, I moved on and I got a job at an ad firm. Mm-hmm. And so I was working in an ad firm, and I was their main video guy and the main graphics guy, creating graphics for them. And that was interesting because now I'm in the world of more like, it was more infomercial type stuff at that time. And I learned a lot about, overshooting and then telling stories. It was almost like a documentary type shooting because you had to shoot so much media, and then we had to find a way to cut it down and make a story out of it. So I learned a lot from that too. Yeah.
Amazing. So do you remember the conversation that we had one day in the edit bay as we were editing one of the shows? Yeah. You and I realized that we worked together.
Yes.
And didn't remember that we worked together on Disney Cruise Line.
Yeah.
So I had made the comment about the fact that it was a Valentine's Day cruise.
Yes, Weddings of a Lifetime.
Right, Weddings of a Lifetime. Yeah. And so there was a couple getting married on Castaway Cay, which had never been done. Disney was thinking about selling weddings, which took like years later for them to do.
Yeah.
But it was so funny. When you said what you did that day on the island, I was like, wait, I do remember that moment. So talk about the fact that that we had talent.
We had talent.
Who was supposed to sing a song and did sing a song for the wedding.
Yes. Yeah, we had.
I believe it was the song Valentine.
Yes. So what happens a lot of times is like they'll bring these talents and the talent is supposed to sing this song. Now, if it's not one of their cover songs, it's another song they're going to sing. A lot of times they don't really know said song.
Right.
So the issue is that they didn't know the song. And so I was tasked with the job. I was a coordinator at the time on that. Right. So I was working with Bruno Way Entertainment, great group of people at the time. And they gave me they were the ones who really gave me my big start. But I remember they said, yeah, we got to make cue cards. And so we were up all night with these, poster boards and writing out all the words to this song. I don't know what the song was, but I know my hand hurt after we were done at 3:00 in the morning.
So what's funny is the fact that it was Martina McBride.
Yeah.
And it was her most famous song, I do believe, called Valentine.
Okay.
And so I remember, I think this is what happened. Yeah. I said, I remember that I had to go to the karaoke lounge on the ship.
Oh, okay.
To grab the karaoke track. Because,
so we were both doing something.
Right. And so I was like, I had to go grab Valentine is in the karaoke bar so that she had music to sing to. And you were like, I had to write the cue cards because she couldn't remember the words. I was like, it was her song. Anyway. Okay.
But I had to say, Martina McBride, what a sweetheart. She was such a nice lady. I loved her immensely.
So it's funny that we work together. We
never crossed paths. That's crazy.
All right. So as a leader in the film and TV industry for decades, how have your services changed over time?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Well, the industry, as you know, has changed a lot in the last 10 years. I remember when I first started my older production house, I remember we were building everything from scratch, graphics, packages, everything was from scratch. And now, 10 years later, then all of a sudden it came out with templates, where, you get this template of a graphic or something like that. And at first I was very resistant to that because I thought it took away the creativity of making, the stories for people. But then I realized I have to embrace this because, it comes down to cost. ROI is what it comes down to. So we would start, using templates and we would break them down and rebuild them, what we thought looked good. Next thing you know, we're cranking out more media, more stuff for clients now. And everybody's happy. They love it. So it's a good thing.
Your services have evolved over time, even just in the amount of time that I've known you.
It's a lot.
What you're offering
it's a lot.
With IronPixelMedia.
We offer, like what's real. I mean, I want to, when I work with my clients, I want to give them what's real. I don't want to give them something fake. I don't want to give them something that's basically it's a hyped version of something. I want them to say, this is your product. This is what you're selling to people. And, let the people see it for what it is. And that's what I tell my clients when I'm building stuff for them. You don't have to, go crazy. You don't have to spend $1 million making a commercial. You just have to get the message across, make it something somebody wants. If you believe in the product, it'll sell. It'll go. So our job is to bring it to life. Yeah.
And your space is amazing. And it's incredibly flexible too.
Our little studio here is designed for anything. This studio is designed for, video production. We have your setup here. We have photography backgrounds. We've got edit bay. We got a voiceover booth. We got a podcast studio on the other side. So it's a one-stop shop. You walk in.
It's amazing.
People can bring their own crews and set up here if they want to, or they can use ours. It's designed as a flex space per se in production.
And you're also man on the street, right? So if you just toss a camera on your shoulder and you can work with corporate clients and so forth, just doing whatever they need for events to document the event, the recaps, everything else.
Yeah, Thomas, my editor. I used to call him assistant. I call him editor now. He's been upgraded. But anyway, we just did a job for SpaceX, and we busted our butts, and then we pulled off this job for them, and they were extremely happy with the end result on that one. So.
And they're a repeat client.
They are a repeat client. Yes, they are.
Which is phenomenal, right? When you say, do you pinch yourself when you go, I just finished doing a thing for SpaceX.
I did in the beginning, but then what happens is, hey, can you get us a job there? And then it's all of a sudden it becomes this whole hey, can you get me in? Can you get me in? I'm like, so we don't really talk about it much anymore. I mean, I will with you, but I don't.
Outed.
Yeah, outed. Exactly. But they're wonderful. you walk into that place and it is just like, wow. I mean, it is. I mean, I've only been wowed a few times in my life, and one time was when I got to go to Skywalker Ranch, and got to go there, and I thought
that would be a wow.
I got a toast to that. That was like,
right?
It was like the presence of God.
Unbelievable.
It's good, actually. I like that.
I know, right?
So anyway,
Skywalker Ranch.
So Skywalker Ranch was amazing. And then when we did this thing for SpaceX, we got to see the facility. We didn't go into the facility where they built the satellites, but we got to see the area where the engineers work, and it was just like, it was incredible. I mean, it was just, these are some of the smartest people in the world working under this roof, and it was incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Finding the shot is the next question. So you shot everything from corporate work to creative sets.
Yes.
When you walk into a new job, what's the first thing that you look for as the DP? So
power.
Director of photography.
I look for power.
Right?
I look for power outlets. As soon as I walk into a location, first thing I'm looking for is power outlets.
Yeah.
Okay, we got power. Okay, we're good. We got power. The first thing I'm looking for is first of all, lighting. Is there windows? Okay, there's windows. Okay, which way are the windows facing? Are they facing west or east? Because if they are facing west, that means if we're shooting in the afternoon, that means we have hard sunlight coming in on this side. I'm looking at background stuff that we have to do background. I'm also listening to sound. How it is sound-wise. Do we have a loud air conditioning system? Do we have people walking? Do we have a bathroom next to us? Things like that. So all my senses are ignited when I walk into a room for a setup. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm just sitting there for saying, okay, all right. And I get my compass out, okay, all right. And then I start assembling in my head. And then next thing I know, I say, okay, let's get the cameras in, let's set up, let's go.
What do you do when it's an environment and you can't change what it is? You just have to work with it.
You have to make it work. You have no choice. That's all you got to work with. You got to make it work. One time I remember we were doing an interview, and all they had was this little 8x8 office space. I mean, it was tiny, really small. And so we had to go with a wider lens, unfortunately. But we made it work, and the client was very happy with the end result. I mean, I was not, but I have high standards. And so from their point of view, they thought it was great. So we made it work. Yeah.
Okay.
We were punching out ceiling tiles and hanging lights in the ceiling tiles and whatever we could do to get a backlight behind that person and not have them against the wall. Yeah, we did it.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Retelling the brief. So often, in marketing, it starts with, after you define the objectives and so forth, we start with a creative brief often for the development of creative. Yeah. So how do you take the client's idea, which is sometimes abstract or it's emotional, how do you work that into a visual concept that looks good on camera?
Copy. Most important thing is talk to them first. I got to listen to them. I talk to them, get to know them, and get a feel for what it is they're selling. Got to know their product. So I have to understand the product. We have a nail designer that we're doing a piece for right now, doing a commercial piece for right now, and we shot her interviews, and the interviews look great. She does a good job, but she's not happy with her interviews. And so I told the producer, I said, well, we're not done yet, and you don't want to just have her on camera. So I asked her, can we get a bunch of your nail line, nail polish line? Yeah. So she gives a whole box. So this week, Thomas and I are going to get a little smoke machine. We got a little rotating table. We got this little piece of copper, and we're going to shoot her whole nail line. And that way, when she's talking about it, we're going to show the product in this really cool lighting environment.
And it adds that emotional element.
It adds to it because this is her baby. She built this. Yeah. This is her thing. She just rang a nail salon, and now she's doing product. This is her new area of expertise. So we're really going to show it off. We're going to shoot all these shots. She doesn't know about it yet. I talked to the producer. He loves the idea. So we're going to shoot it this week, and then we're going to insert that into her video. Okay. So she's only seen the rough cut, but when she sees the final, we're going to show these nail bottles in that, and we think she's going to be very happy.
Amazing. Can you think of another example of when you translated the client's idea and brief into something visually on camera that might have looked not great on paper, but looked great on camera?
Yeah. That's a good question. There's been a lot of different times. I'm trying to think of something specific where it really came through. There was these guys, and these are engineers, and they built this automatic watering system for chickens. And anyway, they needed a commercial spot.
Okay.
And so So it was really ingenious. They had these little cups, and the chickens, when they come in, they peck on the cup, and they would get their water. So it fed water. It was a way of keeping the coops clean, because if you just put a pan of water in, it gets dirty and disgusting.
Right.
So this was just a water system that fed to said chickens. Okay. And they just didn't know what to do. So we just basically, we got into chicken coops with the chickens, and we got down real low with the cameras and hung out and waited there until the chickens came in. They're pecking the thing, getting the water, and we were just capturing the moments. And then we would show. So what we did was, we showed a chicken coop with just still water in it and how disgusting and nasty it was. Right. And then we showed the other chicken coop clean and beautiful, and it had these little cups, and their sales went up like crazy after that. They said that the chicken people saw that and started buying little water, automatic water. Very simple. But
we told the story.
We told the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So storytelling through production.
Yes.
So in your view, what's the difference between capturing content and telling a story on camera?
Well, that comes down to the editor, actually. I mean, well, as a camera operator and DP, it's like on one location, I got to capture everything that has to do with this story. So again, I talk to the client, find out all the details about their product, about them, who they are. So now, after I have that information, now I go and capture those moments. And even if it requires me recreating moments and things like that, that's what I have to do, is recreate it, show the product, show people using the product, asking people, do you like the product? And then from there, we take all those little pieces, we bring it in, and then we have to put it together. A lot of times, I'll sit down with my editors and say, let's storyboard this out first. Or I'll work with my AD or director. Let's storyboard it first. So here's what we got. Here's all the material they got. Here's the people. How do we want to do this? So then we'll storyboard out like the idea, the concept. And then from there, we'll create our shoot list, go in, get our shots. And now the editor has basically a roadmap to start assembling it together. Yep. So it's almost like shooting a movie, to be honest with you. I mean, we go in and it's like, we got the characters, we got the plot, you got the protagonist, you got the antagonist, and we're just telling a story, and just telling the story.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I like the idea that you storyboard.
Yeah, storyboards are great. I love storyboards. I mean, storyboards are everything when it comes to production, as far as I'm concerned. And it started Walt Disney. He started storyboards.
I didn't know
animation.
that.
Yeah, he was one of the first to start storyboards.
Really?
He said, just throw it up there on the wall to see how it looks.
Just to see the flow.
See the flow. Yeah, that's Walt Disney.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you for the factoid. The more you know.
Always.
One of the things that I find interesting about you and I is that because we work with so many clients in different industries, that there's a lot of work that goes into actually learning their business in order to then project the brand in the way that we have a duty to do because they've hired us on.
Exactly.
And so it takes a lot of work. I have to ask a lot of questions to better understand, because they're industries that I've never worked in. I never will.
Right.
And it's, it's so intuitive to them, but for me, it's foreign. So you have to learn the language and what matters to them and what matters to their customer base, who their customer is,
Agreed.
right? All these different things
Agreed.
in order to then tell the brand story, which is ultimately what they hired you to do. But you're kind of coming in blind.
Yeah, I know. The brand, what gets me a lot of times when I go, especially the corporate world, acronyms. Acronyms are, they are, to me, they are my nemesis, acronyms. Because when they start going, oh yeah, we're going to do the SOC to the SEC to the CCO, so. And you're sitting there going like, what the heck is it? What is that? We don't know what that is. Is there a manual for all this? And there's no manual. You have to literally sit down with the client. Okay, what is the CCOD? That's the closed caption, central diagrammic, blah, blah, blah. And what is that? That's part of the OSEC. It's just acronym after acronym after acronym. And I'm like, wow.
That is so funny. All right, so is that sort of corporate America?
That's corporate America.
Is it? I mean, I don't even know if it's like even outside of corporate America.
Every corporation I've worked, it's what it is. It's like, because they have so many. I mean, there's so much. I don't know. I wouldn't call it SOP. I would just call it there's just so many cogs in the wheel of a corporate building. Corporate.
It's the shorthand speak for
it is a shorthand speak.
People communicate.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And it just like there's just so much, but to them it's natural. I'm sure for a first year person coming in, it's like really tough for them, but they eventually get it.
Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
after 2 years, they're fine. But for somebody coming in from the outside, it's really tough. I mean, it's really hard.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it's funny because I've switched industries a couple of times,
Right.
going from Disney to a tech startup
Mhm.
to then to Bank One, which became Chase, and then
Right.
Choice Hotels.
You've
And
done a lot too, by the way.
What's that?
You've done a lot.
I've jumped around,
Yeah.
right? And it's been fun because I've learned along the way, and I bring that all to my clients. But
Right.
what I will say is, when I started, I think it was at Choice Hotels. When I started there, I asked everyone, please don't use an acronym because I don't know them, and I'm going to slow everything down.
Uh-huh.
And sure enough, they were like,
They're
boom, boom,
acronym.
boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, seriously, I think you're thinking in your mind, I'm going to save 2 seconds,
Right.
and I'm going to add 10 minutes to this conversation because you
Uh-huh.
use an acronym,
Right.
and you got to back me up.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
it is what it is. But it's true. Like, that's how you understand your clients and
Yeah.
what matters to them. And you have to learn to adapt and learn the language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We actually, it's funny about the acronyms. I've been, you don't mind me touch on them a
Yeah.
little more. I've actually, we do a lot of puppet work here. So we've got 2 puppet shows I'm working on right now here. And I was going to bring it to one of my clients. I was going to say, hey, you know what? We should actually approach corporations and we should do a puppet video that's just about the acronyms of the company and make it fun, and then just give us every acronym you got and give us what it is,
Right.
and what's for. And then we'll have the puppets just do this thing. And that way, when you got somebody coming in for the first time, you got to watch a puppet video to know all the acronyms, and then have a puppet video to watch. Right.
Okay, that's hysterical. I
I
want
know.
that.
Thank you.
I want that.
That may be kind of fun.
Also, you know what's interesting too is
Yeah.
that often there are multiple acronyms for the same thing.
I know. Nah. It is what it is. Ask questions. That's what I say. Ask questions. So here's the acronyms.
All right. So exactly right. Okay.
Acronyms.
And why don't you take a sipping break? All right. It's going to thank our D3 sponsors. Right?
Mm.
Mm.
Go right ahead.
All right. So today's episode of Marketing Over Bourbon is brought to you by D3 Brewing Company, the makers of Benny's Brew, 3 Wishes, Retire Rides, and more. D3 Brewing knows the importance of creating connections and crafting something unforgettable. So whether you're toasting to a big idea, celebrating a small win, or just savoring a moment of inspiration, D3 Brewing Company has the perfect pour for every occasion. And with every sip, you're not just enjoying an excellent brew, you're part of a story about loyalty, fun, and bringing people together. So cheers to great beer, great conversations, and the magic of D3 Brewing Company. As they say in D3, drinks up.
Right on. Drink it up.
All right. Did you enjoy your hot second of a break?
I did. Thank you for the break. I appreciate that. Gives me a chance to reset.
Exactly. Okay. Shaping a brand in 30 seconds. Shaping a brand. That's telling a quick story. So you shot commercial content where the story has to land really fast.
Yes.
And in fact, I've done often 15-second ads, and that's
Yeah.
very difficult to have a beginning, middle, and an end.
Agreed.
How do you build an emotional tone in a piece that's 30 seconds long or even shorter?
Just get to the point. Just get to the point.
Wait, as a brain marketer, I'm like, what do you mean you're skipping the juice?
Get
right?
to the point. Get to the point. Get to the point. Because think about it. When you're on your phone, you're going through stuff in commercials and things like that. If you come across somebody that just goes on, I got this amazing thing and blah, 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 blah. Now, I used to be a blah, 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 blah. But they're not getting to the thing. What is the thing? So we go to the thing. I'm working with Carlos Navarro now. He's doing commercial pieces, and we're now shooting for him. And we just did a thing for Southeast Steel, and it was awesome. We just basically went in there with the owner, and it was like a Sunday football thing. And we got a guy that was like a news announcer, like a NFL news announcer.
Right.
And he's sitting there going, okay, he's putting it in the pizza. He's turning up the temperature, and it's getting to look at that 350 degrees, folks. And he just, did this whole thing. And then at the end, the owner's like, are you going to sit there and commentate all day? You're going to drink a beer and have a piece of pizza. And then Southeast Steel, boom. And that was the commercial piece. That was what we did. And
Awesome.
they loved it. And they got a big, but the thing is, we got to the point. We did some fun stuff there in the beginning, but we got right to, we were already showing a stove. We were already showing the product. We were showing the things there. And we showed pizza stuff going in to show what they were selling. And then we ended Southeast Steel Appliances, and it got the message across.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I think it's incredibly difficult to have a story arc over 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then when
Yeah.
there's a reduced ad buy and it's 15 seconds, even
the 15 seconds are really,
like,
really
I don't
brutal.
even know.
You just got to show the product, get in, get out on those. It's brand, show the logo, brand, show the product, somebody enjoying the product, brand, close, get out. That's all
It's
you can
hard.
do. That's all you can do. Yeah.
It's hard. And it's a lot to coach people,
Yes.
I would imagine as well.
Yeah. Yeah. We
because you have an eye for what works and what doesn't work, and you know what the end result is going to look like.
Sure. And they have to trust us because we're the one looking at the monitor and how they look and things like that. So we basically okay, turn a little bit that way, and they're like, well, it doesn't feel very comfortable. I understand that, but the thing is, like, you look really good on that side. Oh, thank you very much. And then they turn, like that. I got a good one here. All right, here. Here's okay. Side note about dealing with people on camera. You get a lot of pushback a lot of times, but I had a situation where I was working on music video, and we basically had a green screen set up, and they brought the dancer in, and she had this shirt on, and it had blue, red, yellow, and green leaves on it. And so all of a sudden, I know this is going to be a problem in post-production because she's going to look like she got bitten by a shark. So it's
blend in a little bit too much.
Exactly. So, we're trying to tell the talent, can you change? Because that's going to be a problem for us in post. This is my favorite outfit, and listen. And then we went up to the makeup artist and said, listen, can you do us a favor? She goes, well, could you just tell her she looks kind of fat in that because they trust you guys. Tell her she looks fat in the dress. And
she's probably sticking with this.
She went out and she whispers in her ear. She, oh my God, we're changing out this dress right now. And we got her.
Was it the green leaves? Is that why? Because of green screen.
Yeah, because
just the green though, right?
But if she was static and standing there, we could mask it out, no problem. Okay. But the problem, is this was 10 years ago. So the technology today, I said no problem. We can get around it because we can do the photo brush. But back then, it was like we would have to manually.
Would she look like she had holes?
She would have had shark bites all over her.
Okay.
Yeah, because of the green leaves. Yeah. But anyway, so
is that a technical term? Shark bites.
I don't think it is now. It can be. But it's a situation where, like, we knew there was going to be a big situation in post-production, and we didn't want to have to hit the client with this huge bill. So the easy fix was like, say, you look fat in the dress. And next thing you know, they changed.
Seriously, she's probably still working through that in therapy.
I hope. Maybe.
But you have taught me, though, as my producer. You're an amazing producer, by the way. And I'm so blessed to be a part of all of this. And you and your team, it's just beyond belief.
We enjoy having you.
Thank you.
Thank
you. And you didn't just have to say that because we're on camera right now.
No, I mean that. And your show has brought all these, these amazing people coming in. You brought in like a lot of legacy members of Disney in here.
I know.
And you brought people in that I'm just sitting there. We're sitting here listening to these folks and like, these people, and when I was at Disney, I was still PA. These were the gods of Disney as far as I was concerned. They were the ones that were doing everything, all the big stuff.
Well, we were there during the Disney decade, right?
Yes,
which was the 90s. Yeah. Like, was just an amazing period of time.
Incredible. Yeah.
If you had to pick a moment in time to be a Disney cast member and be a part of something that was bigger than you,
that was the time.
That was the time.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I joke that this show is often like AKA Life After Disney, right? Because you and I are both legacy Disney people.
Yes, we are.
Almost everyone that's been on my show,
they've all
Disney,
been,
and so we all have a connection to it, and it's interesting to see what we took from our Disney experience and how we applied it and grew professionally and personally.
It's still in us to this day. It all the values are still there. It's to go out and help people, and just my favorite one from Disney is like when somebody asks you a question, and if you don't know the answer, I don't know the answer, but I'll find out.
Yes.
That was classic Disney for us because if somebody asks you a question, I don't know the answer, but I will find out and get back to that guest to get the answer to that.
Exactly.
And I still use that to this day.
Yeah. I still invite people to look.
Yes.
I can't point with one
finger. I can't do the one point now. It doesn't exist. I still pick up trash when I'm walking through parking lots and stuff. It's in my DNA. Traditions will stay with you forever.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Tech meets art. So you work with both video and still photography.
Yes.
And editing and graphics. How do you balance the technical precision with your creative instinct?
Oh, good question.
Because they may sometimes be in conflict.
They do. Really,
or not. I don't know.
They complement each other. You just make sure they complement each other. I wouldn't, if I got a video going, I wouldn't just like go put a still up all of a sudden in there. I wouldn't just put like a PowerPoint slide in there or something like that. I would do something interesting with it. Maybe break it up into layers and give it some three-dimensional feel and push a pull into it, do some turns, have some fun with it. So basically it complements the video. Yeah. Because the worst thing you do is like you got this beautiful video and all of a sudden, boom, right in there.
The jarring effect.
Exactly. My big thing, and it drives me crazy when I see videos where it's like, got this night, like it's a couple stills and they're pushing towards you like this, and all of a sudden, boom, there's one going backwards this way. And it just jolts me like this. I'm like, and I'm like, why'd they do that? So I'm very much about making things fluid.
Okay.
And so when I put it together, I make sure it's like just water flowing through. It's just, there's no jolt for the viewer.
Yeah.
They enjoy the ride, and there's no bumps.
Yeah.
We're taking a quick bourbon break. So while glasses are refilled, let's talk about something as important as a good pour, your marketing. I'm the founder of Butler Marketing Group, and we help businesses, small, medium, and Fortune 500, navigate growth and transformation with marketing that's strategic, intentional, and built to leave a legacy. Whether you need branding, marketing strategy, loyalty, or a fractional chief marketing officer, we've got the perfect blend of services for your business. Contact Butler MG to get started. Now, back to the show.
So you and I have fixed, this is an add-on question. You and I have fixed many things in post-production.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The hand. We'll fix that.
Right. Exactly. The fact that I probably just leaned into your shot.
Exactly. We'll fix
With
that
our
too.
camera.
We'll fix that too. Yeah.
So talk about that. How do you manage the fact that you're trying to do as much as you can during production
Right.
to minimize the post-production?
Absolutely.
And what do you do if by chance you get into post and you go, oh, this is like, I don't have a lot to work with here. And yet you have to produce for a client.
You just take the best that you got.
Okay.
I mean, if you
And then you work your magic.
If you get a steak and it's got nothing but fat on it, you're going to cut that fat away and you're going to have a filet mignon. You take that little piece
Okay.
and you work with it. I got this. I've saved this. I got this. We are going to work off of this. Everything we do works off of this, so we make it work.
I love it.
Yeah. But anything out here right now, do fix as much as you can in production. When you're here, right here, if there's an issue, fix it here, right now. I'm just telling the audience they have to. Here.
I love it. And by the way, is that an airplane
That's
flying
a plane
over?
going through, but don't worry, we have software to get rid of that, so don't worry about that. That's the other thing is technology has changed so much now.
Yeah.
Where like it used to be every little sound would be an issue in post production, but now we've got tech where we can basically do net sound, and then we can tell it to isolate just our voices, and we can literally remove so much in the background now and make it sound phenomenal. So it's come a long way.
But still, it's hours and hours of work.
It's still work. It's not, I wouldn't say out. I mean, it depends on the length of the piece, but yeah, it does add a little more work on. But the thing is, it does exist. So if we are stuck, there's a way for us to get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is a good dovetail into the next
Go ahead,
question.
fire away.
The scene you wish you could reshoot. So is there a shot or a project that when you go back, haunt is probably too strong a word.
Yeah.
But if you think back and go, if I just had 10, 15 more minutes or one more take, what would you go back and try to redo?
There was an artist.
And you can have more than one, by the way.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Because you probably have more than one.
I do. We all have them. There was an artist we interviewed. We did a piece on him. His name is James Rosenquist. And his work was featured all over the world. It was in the MoMA in New York City. He had it's called the F-111. Was featured in New York City. It had its own room dedicated to his art. It went all the way around the room. He did large format art, and cool guy. We drank with him. I mean, like we are right now. He wanted to drink while we're on stage.
Good people.
And I to this day I wish I had shot some more B-roll of him around his studio. So we kind of ran out of time, but we just had this incredible interview with him, and then we were all getting a little bit tipsy. And just had a great time. Here I am with this world famous artist who actually he met Castro. He was the guy who basically climbed the buildings in New York, and they used to paint all the signs on Times Square. He was historic, and I just wish I could have got more with him. We got the interview, we got the sound bites, it's all good. And because he passed away a few months later. So I was pretty much the last interview he had before he passed away. And I just wish I got more footage. I wish I got footage of him painting or something like that, things like that. But his studio was under construction, so we couldn't go into the studio. And that's something I wish I should have just faked it. I should have said, let's get a couple of brushes and make it look like you're painting and stuff like that. Or just give me do some sketches. That we didn't do that. So
do you carry that with you now with clients? Do you think about
time.
I'll just do like a little bit more. I may not use it. I may not even want it later. It may not fit the story, but just in case.
Always have it. It never hurts to have more B-roll than you need. Never. I've had a few editors that say, Mark, you shoot too much B-roll, but the thing is, they have everything they need to make the story.
Yeah.
But I like to shoot like crazy. I love shooting. Shooting is like, it's awesome. I mean, you think about camera work, cameramen are the ones who basically have captured all the moments throughout history.
Yeah.
All the way back to the photographers of the Civil War. If it wasn't for those guys, we wouldn't have pictures of the Civil War and see those things. The World War II photographers who were out there getting all that footage of everything in there. We wouldn't have those historic videos if it wasn't for those guys. Yeah. So even though I'm doing corporate stuff or story things, it's still, I carry the same drive because I want to make sure I capture, everything that's needed for the piece.
And it's a responsibility as well.
Yeah.
There was a museum in DC, it's since closed, called the Newseum. And it was focused solely on news. So it was print media, radio media,
right.
Film and television. Right. And they would have a newspaper for every, like the most significant cover page of a newspaper for every year since newspapers were in print.
Wow.
And then outside of the museum, they had every state and territory. They picked a newspaper for the day on like what's the key news story that represents what's going on there, either nationally or within the state, et cetera. And it was fascinating to think about that. And in fact, you brought me to something else, the Ken Burns documentary around, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So his American Revolution documentary is the first documentary that he's done to where there's literally no photography whatsoever to draw upon.
You mean video photography?
It's the American Revolution. It's the Revolutionary War. So it's like
there's nothing. So they're using artwork. There's artwork.
Right, exactly. So think about how do you tell a story as a filmmaker and so forth without a lot of the story.
Yeah.
Right, you have a lot of letters and so forth. It's just, I can't even imagine.
You use whatever you got.
Right.
I mean, I remember the first time I was in journalism class way back when, and I'll never forget this. My teacher, Mr. Shank, she was awesome, and I remember they shared this image. It's kind of morbid. It was the first photograph of somebody in an electric chair.
Wow.
And the photograph was distorted. It was a mess. It was horrible. It was like, and she asked the class. She brought this picture up. Says, so as a journalist, she says, would any of you would you use this photo in your story? Mm. And she called upon me and I said, no, I wouldn't. She goes, why wouldn't you? I said, because it looks horrible. It's a bad picture. It's not a good picture. And she says, yes, it's true, but it's the only shot of this situation. And it hit me. I was like, oh my God, she's right. It is like, so when you go back to Ken Burns, he's using paintings, he's using whatever he can to show
animation, voiceovers of great actors, of reading letters.
Yeah, right. He'll use all those different elements to bring that thing to life. And so my point is, the fact is, like, you if it tells a story, even if it's something like that, if it has the way of telling that story, you use it.
Yeah,
absolutely,
exactly.
Yeah.
Client evolution. So think about all the clients that you work with, which are
chicken coop people.
to SpaceX, to space and back. Okay. So what's one trend in how brands approach video and media that's changed in the most recent years? And I don't know if that's AI or if it's different approach to storytelling. You tell me.
Everything.
Because the clients can be so different that within the client segment, it could have evolved over years versus just
the change I'm seeing.
All of it.
The change I'm seeing happening now that I've noticed is back then when we were telling a story about the product, to sell the product. Now it's all about social media, and now it's all about making the product cool, where people are interested in sharing it, make it fun, make it funny, make it a good story where people want to share it. So now it's become this whole, it's all social media now. And I think you probably agree with that because I'm seeing
it's social media, it's influencers and whatever. And by the way, that goes back to the conversation about telling a story in 30 seconds.
Yes.
Now you have to tell the story in far less than that, time. Right?
Yeah,
because people's attention span
is gone. And that's the other thing. Is there's so much content out there. There's so much.
Yeah.
And you need to stick out from all that stuff. You need to stick out from all that. It's big time. And that's what's hard. That's the hard part. How do you look different from millions of these things? They're out there now. How do you stick out from that?
So how do you help your clients do that?
I know. We look at trends.
Okay.
What's trending? That's a huge thing. Look at the trends. Like this is doing real well, so maybe we can modify off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say that we do that, but we have to. I mean, it's everybody does it.
Right.
You think about writers. Everybody copies everything from Shakespeare. It's all based on Shakespeare. But we look at it and say, okay, that's doing well. Let's see, how can we make that better? How can we take? That's the thing.
Yep.
Don't just copy it. Take it and make it better. So here's a trend that's really cool, and it's like, all right, I like what they did there. Let's try it. How about we do this, this, and this? And so that's like with the puppets again. We thought, hey, with the acronyms, let's use puppets because puppets are fun. They're cool, because everybody's using.
They're approachable as well.
They're very approachable, exactly, and they're fun. It's an ancient art that's still cool to this day.
Yeah.
Because the thing is like with all the AI is cool. I mean, I dig AI. I'd like to talk more about that later down the road here.
Okay.
But it all has this surrealistic look to it. It's almost too perfect.
Yeah.
And so when I use the puppets for stuff like that, it's like they're not grungy. They're just edgy. I don't know. They're just cool. I like my puppets.
A puppet can say basically anything to you when you would accept it.
Exactly.
Not like a human being.
Not like anything. And it's funny, like when we're doing our shoots,
I love you.
and I'm talking to him, giving him some direction, and the puppet starts talking to me like, okay, Mark, whatever you say, that's cool. I'm talking to the puppet, not the puppeteer. It goes right to the arm. They're right in there. They're talking. It's right in there. It's crazy. It's fun though. Yeah.
That's so true. Actually, so go in the space of AI. Think about that.
AI is really, I gotta be honest with you. You got me hooked on the Chat GPT and stuff and playing with
and
that.
Chip is
one
of my Avengers and subcontractors.
Yes.
I use Chip for many things. Including helping me with insightful questions.
Bingo. So here we go. Here's this whole new world now. And so, and it just like it was when templates first came out in the early 2000s. And I was resistant against it because I'm like, well, that's that's not creativity. That's just throwing us in. But if I use it as a tool, that's a good thing. So now I'm looking at AI as a tool that I can use for things. Like here's a great example. Bad for some people, but good for me. So I had a client that wanted me to do this whole scene and transform it and morph into something else. And I said, okay, great, I can make that happen. And so I had actors lined up to do this whole shoot. And I was going to do this, this, and this. And my client's like, why are you going to do that? Why don't you just do AI? And I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm going to make this look really good for you. He says, you should really try the AI. He's like, all right, I'll try the AI. So we go on. Thomas helped me out with this. We grabbed a couple of faces of the characters we were going to use, threw it in AI, put in all the prompts. Prompts are huge, by the way. Learn prompts.
Oh, 100%.
Is everything.
And by the way, if you don't know how to write the prompt, ask it to write the prompt for the prompt.
Are you serious, Keely?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Be like, hey, Chip, I'm not really sure. This is what I need you to do. Can
Yeah.
you write the perfect prompt so that I get what I want? We'll spit it out.
All right. Well, so we insert all this prompts. We did some modifications, put the images in. It made a video for us. We did it in less than 10 minutes. Sent it to the client for approval. Loved it. First time. So now, I had to cancel the actors. There was where we were 2 weeks out, and I said we went a different direction. But now it's like here's this thing that I just did using AI.
Yep.
And now I feel bad for the actors because they lost a job because of it.
Right.
Now on the other end of this, we did try doing AI for a voiceover track for it, but it wasn't working for me. So that what we did then is that we did hire a voiceover actor. We brought him in, read the script, and then we ran that through a little bit of AI to get and got the old radio feel tone to it. Came out perfect. It's great. So there's what I'm trying to say is like, you don't have to completely remove the human element out.
Right.
I like to do the old, I call it the Peter Jackson effect, where he mixes practical with green screen.
Touche.
Two worlds together makes it look phenomenal.
Yep.
So AI is like, I tell everybody, I get some clients come in the door and they start reading their script off teleprompter. And I'm like, oh my God, this is right off of Chat GPT. Because they just put the prompt in and they threw in the teleprompter, or they sent us the script and it came out. And so we had to tell them, listen, give us an hour, let's go through it. So I'll have Mary or somebody go through it and just, massage it, make it sound human. So the point is like, it has to be both together to make it really good as well.
Yes,
I'm concerned.
exactly. I think for me, in my business, the AI has been incredibly useful in terms of an accelerant from an efficiency standpoint and for challenging me to think beyond whatever I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
make this better sort of conversations.
Exactly.
But I will say that there are certain areas that I don't want to use AI. So when it comes to graphic design and creative development, that to me doesn't seem as though it's protected from a legal standpoint. From a visual standpoint.
Sure.
And so I just don't want to take that risk. So I think it's going to evolve. In fact, by the time this episode airs, it probably will have evolved even more.
It evolves. I've talked to people.
It's iterative. Like
they
literally
say it's
daily,
evolving
weekly.
every day. It's evolving every day. And when quantum computing comes online, NVIDIA is working on quantum computers.
Yep.
I think everybody's working on, I think they're all involved in it. But when those quantum computers kick in, it is going to be exponential. It's going to be like ridiculous, the amount of changes we're going to go through. I wanted to say one last thing. You're saying about with graphics. I am using AI now to give me ideas for graphics and things like that.
Yes.
So I'll put the prompts in there. I'm like, give me this, and this. And then it'll spit out this, okay, I like that. Okay, I'm going to go off that. Now I'll take that and then I will recreate that myself in Illustrator, Photoshop, whatever the case may be. I'm not just going to take that and say, okay, here you go.
Right. You can't just rip and read. Like so I was on the radio staff in high school.
Yeah.
And we called it rip and read off the AP wire.
Yeah.
So it was basically like, it came off the AP. I'm just going to read what's there. Like, no, you can't rip and read. Like you can't do that with AI. Like you literally have to take it and then like make it human. You have to put your own spin on it.
Work with AI, make it a tool.
Yeah.
Don't let it be your replacement.
By the way, if AI ever really comes up more as a human, I'm in big trouble because I thought it was a very kind leader in organizations. But the way I talk to Chip and banter him around is not how I would speak to a normal person if they were working for me.
Okay.
And so if AI ever comes back to get me, I'm in really, really big trouble because I'm not using the kindest of words. What do you mean? How did you just forget? We just talked about this 20 seconds ago.
I love it. This is the reason why when I go through an electronic cashier thing,
I feel like it should be kind of.
And the AI computer's like, would you like to leave a tip? And I'll like leave 10. I'll leave a tip. And because when the computers take over, I want them to look at me and say, "Oh yeah, he's the one who gave us a tip. He's okay. He can say he's okay."
We like him.
Yeah,
he passes.
Yeah,
okay. All right. So we're gonna wrap up for the last 4 questions.
Okay. Got it.
Right.
Okay.
Which, by the way, so cheers for being on the show. I know that it is not intuitive for you, and I'm super comfortable to be in front of the camera. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Actually, I'm doing good. The bourbon helps. Thanks. That's a nice touch.
Well, and I try to have the prettiest of glasses. By the way.
We want to talk about these glasses. These glasses.
Do you like these glasses?
These are amazing glasses because, look at the texture and everything on the bottom of this. Because you talking about me looking at a room and I walk in. I look at stuff and I just break it all down. Like,
so we included this glass in the intro of my show, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, quick backstory. So Simon Pierce is this masterful glass maker.
Yes.
Glass blower. And originally from, I believe, Ireland.
Okay.
I hope I didn't get that wrong.
Stuff.
Anyway, so he came to the United States. He's got a location in Vermont.
Okay.
And if you've ever seen the end of Sweet Home Alabama, when Reese Witherspoon walks into this glass blowing restaurant it's actually Simon Pierce glass.
Oh, wow.
It's this gorgeous showroom. But they had a second location in Westchester, Pennsylvania, which was where I lived in Philly for 19 years.
Wow.
So it's a burb west of Philadelphia. And so when I was thinking about the show, there are traditional bourbon glasses and they're shaped in a certain way to where you have all the notes of the bourbon that you sense before you taste it.
Right.
But I wanted to do something that was very authentic to me and my life journey. And so I bought these glasses on Simon Pierce. And so these are all hand blown.
Okay.
And so all of these are like hand spun glass.
Wow.
Over and over again.
I love it.
And I just find them super cool, and everything has like a little bit of character and distinct. There's no copy.
Well, we'll be sure to get good close-up shots of this for you. Show it off.
All original stuff.
Fantastic. These are beautiful.
So I love a good glass in my hand. So there we go. Okay. All right. So last 4 questions.
Yeah.
A home stretch. If your approach to production were a bourbon, what bourbon would it be and why?
Okay.
And you can pick flavor notes if you don't want to pick a bourbon brand.
I had to go with the Woodford. You got me hooked on the Woodford one.
Right? Woodford is my go-to.
The bottle is just cool. I love the bottle. And I researched it, by the way. And what I researched was, I know it's 10 years old, and then basically they age it quite a bit, and they do a lot of refining, and they really go all out to make this bourbon.
Yeah.
And so that is how I would view my production, is basically it's very well refined.
Yeah.
Now one thing outside of it, I don't know how their environment is, but me, with my production, I like to make everything kind of fun. I like my crew to have a good time, enjoy themselves. I don't like stress. Well, drinking out bourbon, you won't have any stress, that's for sure. But
it helps.
So I'm not sure if I'm answering the question properly or not. But the thing is, it's like, drinking bourbon, it's chill, relaxed, it's enjoyable.
And that's your approach to production.
And I want my production to be exactly the same way, because the people I work with are professionals. They know what they're doing. They're very good. And I just want them to have a good time. I do not like stress on the set. I will not tolerate it.
No, it does not produce the best results.
It doesn't. And I never understand when I work as a freelancer on some sets and I see the amount of, like, when I see somebody yelling at somebody or that, it's like, it's not necessary. If there's an issue with somebody, take them off to the side, have a talk with them. I get that. But you don't have to berate them in front of the rest of the crew.
Right.
I have issues with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you just have to pause and sip.
And have a bourbon. Yeah.
Pause and sip.
I'll go drink that guy next time. Yeah.
So, first Disney memory. If you could go back and experience something at Disney for the first time ever, what is it?
Spectro Magic.
Oh my God, I love Spectro.
Spectro Magic
one of my
was, so after a long day of work,
right.
I would just go over to Magic Kingdom. And
from studios?
Yeah, from the studios.
Okay.
Just go to Magic Kingdom, take the bus, go jump on the monorail, go over. And then I would just go to Spectrum. I would find a nice little spot near the castle, just sit there. And it's been a hot summer's day, but now it's into the evening, it's cooling off, and just sit there, and then all of a sudden Spectrum Magic grew around. I think that was the best parade Disney ever had. I thought Spectrum Magic was just absolutely amazing, and I love the soundtrack. Everybody thought, I know that the characters had a hard time because they had this really heavy battery packs back then. And
especially if you were in the what was
the butterfly ones? Was it Butterfly Girls? Or?
No, well, I it's funny because when I worked in entertainment, Spectre was still around, and I was in Magic Music Days. So we were stage managing. I think I stage managed like 800 performances of choirs and marching bands and cheerleaders and whatever. But we also worked a lot of special events for press events and so forth. But I remember watching them all practice because there was a production facility right next to my double wide trailer. Was the production facility and where they stored all the daytime floats and nighttime floats. Sure. And the packs were big for the butterflies.
Yeah, huge.
But it was also really interesting too. Was it called the Cavalcade? Was that the end float with like a really long float?
Oh, yeah.
And then because on cue, you had to hit the battery pack to change it from the colored lights to the white lights.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was also dreamy and magical and gorgeous.
It really, you talk about, you want to feel the Disney magic, Spectro Magic was the bomb. I mean, that was just like, it was a good moment. I think that's something they should bring back, especially with today's LED technology. I mean, they can have a little battery this big and get the same effect and do all of these. I think they should bring
back. They have a current nighttime parade, and it's, nothing like Spectro. Actually, part of what I loved about Spectro was the music.
The music was so cool.
There's just this emotional response that you have to the swell of things.
Yeah. It was magical. It
really was.
Magical.
Yeah, and not in a, sometimes people say magical and they're trying to just throw in a word. Yeah, it was. But magical. It was truly, exactly, in a way that you can't
transport you someplace amazing.
Correct. Yes. I love your answer. Okay. Good answer, by the way. All right. So previous guests. So Tony Mancini was here recently.
Tony, got it.
And he asked, because this is so spot on for you.
Yes.
What are you doing in your career to support youth and them becoming the next generation in your business?
Okay. All right. So when I was, like, when we were talking about me back in the beginning when I was working, and I remember a lot of people wouldn't share information with you back then. It was just, they were worried about the jobs getting taken away from them. So they didn't share so well. So you had to learn on your own and things like that. And I've worked with a lot of good directors. I worked with a lot of really bad directors. And I always told myself I will not be like that guy, the bad director. I always be like the good directors. And so any of the interns, anybody who works with me, I try to take as good care of them as I can. And if they have questions, I answer them. If they want to learn anything, I teach them. They have like you met Sam, who was here earlier.
Yeah.
And Sam, needed a studio for a day for a student project. I said, "There's nothing happening. The studio's yours. Come on in. The lights are yours. Cameras, whatever you need."
Yeah.
So I gave the whole thing to him. So here's a kid that's in college, doing a student film, whatever it may be, and he's got access to a production studio.
Yeah.
No cost.
Yeah. Full service.
Give it to him. Yeah.
Soups and
Because he's always here to help me out. He comes in, he says, "I'll come in, I'll sweep up, I'll clean, whatever you need," and that means a lot to me. So I will take care of those people that do that for me. You know what I mean? So I want them to learn. I want them to be good. I want them to be better than me. I want them to be like, I just want them to be amazing is what I want. I've got a bunch of kids I've worked with over the years, and a lot of them are working in LA now. A bunch of them working up in Atlanta now. And I get a call or get a text from once in a while. "Hey, I'm working on this event, blah, blah, blah." And I'm just supposed to say, "Thank you. I couldn't have done it without you teaching me this."
Amazing.
And they're doing great. They're doing really good. So
you never have any idea the impact that you make on someone in just like a small moment.
I don't
And you probably don't even remember it. There's a guy that I know, I'm going to get this wrong, but it's sort of like AI. So directionally I'm accurate,
Right.
but my story may not be technically fully correct if I go back and look at facts. But there's a gentleman that I met at a friend's wedding, and he's become a friend. His name is Dylan, and he wanted to work in movies.
Oh, okay.
And ultimately, he's done things like being one of the executive producers of, I believe, No Country for Old Men.
Oh my gosh.
And some other things.
Awesome.
But how did he start? He wanted to learn film, so he was sweeping up cigarette butts on the set.
Attaboy. That's all it is. Telling you, the key is attitude's everything.
Just start.
Attitude.
Start by starting.
And drive. Just, don't go in there. If you're just out of film school, I get that. There's a lot of stuff and I respect that. But don't think that you're going to set and be a director or a producer all of a sudden.
Right.
You go in there. If your job's a PA, you are a PA. You get the coffee. You go get the food. You sweep up those cigarette butts. But you do it with the best attitude you got.
Yeah.
But also, if you want to work your way up, find the people involved and take care of those people. Get to know those people, and that's your stairway to doing well.
And no pun or pun intended, but the eyes and ears, right? So actually, that was the Disney cast member newsletter.
I still got a bunch of those, yeah.
Right, but you have to be the eyes and ears of everything else around you. That's how you absorb. That's how you learn, I think. All right, so last question. We're going to wrap this up in just a hot second.
Far away.
What do you want me to ask of a future guest? Which, by the way, you'll hear before anyone else does.
I'll hear from them. I'll be there. Hey, that's my question. Future guest. What would be a good question? You've had a lot of questions from people, a lot of different stuff.
Some I still haven't asked yet. Yeah.
I know. I'm trying to think it'd be a good question to ask.
Rack up on more episodes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think would be a good question is
because you sit in with every single interview. So what, as you hear the discussion, what is a question that maybe I didn't ask you? You're like, oh, wow, that would be really fantastic to know.
Yeah, I should have been thinking about that.
Future guest.
I would be like, the question I would ask is, let me think about that for a second. Dang, this is tough. It's hard now. I realize why someone sit there for a little while and ponder this. That's a hard question.
Some of the things, for some prompts, sometimes we've talked about what went right.
Yeah.
And then other times people are like, okay, everyone wants to talk about what went right, but like what went sideways on you? So what do you want to know from someone?
I know, you know what I want to know is, so, basically we were doing this history video for SpaceX. Mm-hmm. Learned a lot about the company. And the number one thing I thought was the most interesting thing is that they when a rocket exploded, when a rocket crashed, when anything went south, they didn't look at it as a setback. They looked at it as a learning opportunity. Mm-hmm. That's like, okay, let's take this, let's learn from this. So my question to somebody is like, what was the most major debacle, worst thing that ever happened to you, but you found that you learned something amazing from it that helped you just slingshot?
Yeah.
Way.
Otherwise, maybe you wouldn't have ever.
You would never got there. Yeah. Because you look at I was doing a lot of research, and I saw a great quote from Thomas Edison. This interviewer says, "How's it feel? I mean, you basically failed at making a light bulb 1,000 times." His response was, "No, I found 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb." So but you learn from every one of those steps the whole way through, all the way up. So.
All right. You'll be here first.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll hear
Before
first.
anything else.
I'll be here. That's my question. All right.
All right, so we're going to wrap this puppy up.
Okay.
All right, so thank you for being in front of the camera today.
Thank you.
And for being my incredible producer
No, you're welcome.
and friend.
Awesome.
So, all right, so we've covered a ton of ground,
Yes.
from how to bring client ideas to life visually, to what makes storytelling different from simply capturing content, and how your production style blends creative instinct with technical precision. Thank you for being my incredible producer. And the work that you and your team do for me has just been, there are no words. So thank you. I'm so grateful to have you as my friend and producer and this amazing partner and your phenomenal facility in Orlando. So thank you. I also want to thank D3 Brewing Company, the makers of Benny's Brew, Three Wishes, Retired Rides, Midnight Pumpkin, and more for sponsoring this episode. And for everyone watching, I hope this conversation has given you a sharper look at how production shapes the way brands express themselves visually and how story and structure work together in front of the camera as well as behind the scenes. And if you like this episode, subscribe, share it with a friend. Join us on Marketing Over Bourbon going forward. And remember, the best ideas often come when you take a moment to savor something great. So drinks up, Kungaloosh. We'll see you next time. Cheers to you.
To the Adventures Club.
Kungaloosh.